That was legitimately embarrassing. Now, I do want to apologize, for those. I haven't made any videos lately. Real life happened. But I've been watching the series. As you can tell, because we're tied 2-2, and that's going to be in the main title. But what the hell was that? You know, it's very rare that you rip into everybody because, you play great defense for the most part against the Hawks. From a defensive standpoint, the Hawks only scored 103 points. Defensively speaking, you're there. It wasn't like game one. This was an offensive meltdown, and a meltdown from everybody. So it's going to be an order of magnitude of blame, and as I explain why some people get more blame than otherwise. So let's start with the big fella, Joel Embiid. Uncharacteristic 4 for 21. His shots were falling a little short. I feel two ways about it. Number one, if your shots are short and if you're short, and I know that you want to take that responsibility. I know you want to be the one to put the team on your back. But, Doc Rivers was obviously frustrated after the game, and he pretty much said it. Shouldn't play hero ball. You have to trust the team, trust the stuff, trust the system, trust the things that got you to this point. And I agree with Doc on that principle. Unfortunately, he doesn't escape this either. So we're going to talk about what Doc did in this game. Because there was a lot that Doc has to be held to account to as well. Because in a game where you only lost by 3 points, you can look at your rotations and say, did I play the right guys and did I play them at the right time? And are there things that I may have missed? And there were things that Doc Rivers missed. So there's that. So on one hand, trust the stuff, trust the system. You shouldn't be forcing out 21 shots. On the other hand, the fact that Joel Embiid is even playing at all, and he did get you 21 rebounds, so it's not as though Joel Embiid did nothing. Joel Embiid was just human on one leg, but human on one leg still gave me 17 points and 21 rebounds. Not on the best efficiency, but from a center perspective, was he truly outplayed by Capella that much? No, I just think his usage was a little high. But, ironically, the Sixers subreddit, our Sixers Reddit, which I'm actually banned from, but I'm on the Discord that's very active. And so one of the Discord chatters was literally copying and pasting a bunch of the Reddit things. And there were those who were the pro Embiid, and then there were the pro, and yes, we're going to get to the one who I really want to rant on about, Ben Simmons. This is unacceptable. No more floor game bullshit. He went 1 for 5 from the line in a 3-point loss. In other words, if Ben Simmons went 4 for 5, we win that game. This is the exact same scenario, by the way, in game 1, where Ben Simmons went 5 for 11, or 45% from the free throw line. If Ben Simmons were a good free throw shooter, this series would be over. Seriously. I'm being dead ass serious. You lost by 4, you lost by 3, and he missed 6 free throws and 5 free throws respectively. If he hit at least 60% of those free throws, you're up 3-1 or it's over. This guy has become Ben WALLACE from the free throw line. On top of everything else about his game, he has now become... You can't play him. I'm sorry. No, I'm serious, Doc. You can't. You can't play this guy because let's compare it to other guys who've been horribly bad for the free throw line. Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal was an interior post player. In fact, Stephen A. Smith made this point, and Stephen A. is actually correct about this. Shaq was in the paint. Shaq wasn't your primary ball handler. Hack-a-Shaq was only a thing, and it got your bigs with foul trouble. Just like when Embiid does it, and it sets up your defense. When Ben goes to the line, there is no benefit. But unfortunately, you also want Ben Simmons attacking and getting to the rim, which he obviously didn't do in the second half either. So it's a conundrum. I want him to be aggressive, but the very last thing I want from him at this point is at the free throw line. This dude has found a way to regress in every facet of the game this year, and it's not a system thing. It's a him thing. His game is regressing badly. It's not getting better, it's getting worse. And now it's one of the worst contracts in the league. Sixers fans, let's step back and be objective for a minute. Who the hell is going to take a Ben WALLACE free throw shooter who isn't a center, but demands the ball to play make and rebound? He had a great rebounding first half, 9 rebounds, so you would think, and obviously at the end of the game, he did get pushed a little bit, but whatever. In order to prevent that, you should still battle for position, get yourself into him, and force the ref to make a call. This dude had 9 rebounds in the first half, finishes the game with 11 rebounds. So let's say that you're going to be passive with the shot. Okay, what does that mean for being passive with rebounding? If you had 9 rebounds in the first half, you should at least have 5 rebounds in the second half. Not 2, 5. Why are you invisible as a basketball player? On top of your poor free throw shooting, on top of the fact that you don't have any offensive game at all, you have your little baby hook, whatever. But 9 times out of 10, you have 0 back. And now you're telling me you're not going to be as aggressive rebounding the ball in the second half as you were in the first half, and you're not a good free throw shooter, and you're not some big man where it's easy to keep the ball out of your hands. Or, here's the other thing too. Even though Shaq was a poor free throw shooter, he scored the ball to make up for it. You can live with Shaquille O'Neal at the free throw line because he was giving you damn near 30 a night. You're lucky to squeeze 15 out of 10. And so, for a lot of Ben Simmons fans, they point to, and now with him being on all-first team, which is deserved, but still, that they point to, oh, you are all-NBA team, or oh. And the all-NBA team was really the most undeserved thing. Now, if you're looking back at that now, just, all-NBA team, he was voted in by the coaches as an all-star. And by the way, coaches, I hate that you did that too. You see a guy who has not put in the work. He has not put in the time. He has not put in the craft. This guy is worse than what he was at LSU. LSU, he shot free throws at 70%. He was a 70% free throw shooter in college. He has yet to hit that mark consistently in the NBA. So his free throws have gotten worse. His offensive tool set has gotten worse, primarily because they're playing him out. Oh, and by the way, let's talk about that one. Let's go to Doc Rivers now. Hey, Doc, game 3, you put Ben in the post, and Ben explodes. Logic suggests if that worked in game 3, there's nothing they can do to stop it in game 4. Give Ben Simmons the ball in the post. He's not a perimeter player, and he's damn straighter than a free throw shooter. Get him the ball in the block, so you can take advantage of passing out the double team. So you can take advantage of him with a little hook shot, because apparently that's all he has in his bag. You would think to put him back in the post. But no, he's not in the post. And I'm going to be a little bit fair to Doc. A little bit. Although that would be a nice game plan to have. Let's get to the whole problem with Ben Simmons. Why does Doc Rivers have to tell you who gets the liberty of having the ball in your hands 95% of the time to go in the post. If you're a great scorer in the post, put yourself in the fucking block. Stop it. I'm done coddling your ass. Put it in the block. You're 6'10", 240, you grab the rebounds, you control the offensive possession. Enough of this about, oh, there's a coaching change, oh, there's a different coach. No! You have the ball. I don't care what system is being ran. You have the ball. Put your ass in the block. Put your ass in the block. That's all you have to do, Ben. That's all you have to do. Put your ass in the block. Doc doesn't have to tell you it. Joe Embiid doesn't have to tell you it. I should not have to tell you it. And you know what? I am sick and tired of having to tell you it. I'm done, Ben. I'm done. Unlike the coaches and unlike the media, I am sick and tired of pampering your ass. I'm just done. And you know, a Ben and Carson comparison isn't exactly quite accurate because we know that when Carson wasn't fat, we know that there was actually a time when Carson Wentz was an elite player. I'm going to be honest here with my Ben ripping. I don't think that Ben Simmons was ever an elite player. I just think that we tagged the title elite to him because he was the number one overall pick and because we gave him a rookie max extension because of everything he could hypothetically do. Seriously, there's Ben Simmons, the hypothetical, and then there's Ben Simmons, the reality. And the two things are so far apart from each other that you have to acknowledge the reality and not pin for the hypothetical that is just never going to exist. The hypothetical is never going to exist. He's not LeBron James 2.0 and he never will be. 5 years in the league, I'm sorry, Stephen A., he's never going to get that shot. So it's time to look at this guy for the 15-point career average that he has. He is a rich man's, actually not a rich man, he's a very poor man's Lamar Odom. As frustrating for us as it was for Clipper fans back in the early 90s. Clipper fans know exactly what we're talking about. Where you thought that this guy with rare physical attributes had the menial basketball skills to incorporate it and be a great player. But unfortunately, your athleticism is a 10. Your skill level might just tap off at a 5. Or in Ben's case, even a 4. Like I said, poor man Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom in his prime, particularly once he got to Miami, developed a great post game, developed that consistency, and Lamar Odom became a better player as he aged. With Ben, you don't even see that progression. It's embarrassing. It's disgraceful. And no one wanted to hold him to account. But after that game, no more. You're fucking soft. You're a bust. Jamal Murray has outplayed his draft status. Nikola Jokic went from second round pick to MVP. What have you been doing besides lacking off for 5 years? Enough. Seriously, enough. I don't care about how many awards the media voted for this guy. I see it with my eye test. This guy has not put in the work in the gym. And we are Philadelphians. We're not New Yorkers. We're not fair weather. We're not Dallas Cowboy fans here. Let's get real. We're Philadelphians. You're a 15-point-a-game guy. And we see in quarters, maybe we'll see it in a half, but you could be way better than what you actually are. But seeing it for a quarter, and this is why I disagree with Bode's talk, seeing it for a quarter and seeing it for a half, for me, that doesn't do it anymore. It doesn't do it. I'm not going to call this guy a star until he puts 48 minutes together. Not 12, not 24, although 24 would be a lot from him right now, right? 48 minutes. It's a 48-minute game, and you play pretty much 40 minutes of them. Put 4 quarters together. 4 quarters. 4 quarters of intense rebounding. Don't just look for the ball. Use your body, use your frame to beat him to the spot. Use your back and seal out the guy. I'm done. The media could do it all at once. But all the media is doing is pumping up a puppet fist. It ain't real. This guy is a bust. Until and when he takes his career seriously, so you don't get 9, 11, and 9, or whatever the case may be. I don't care. A 10, 10, 10 triple double doesn't mean shit. Not even Russell Westbrook gives you 10, 10, 10s. Like, come on. It's irrelevant. It really is irrelevant. Alright. That's enough on Ben because there are a lot of other problems. So, you miss out on Danny Green. And my first thought is, you know how I've been feeling about Danny Green this whole year. I said, spot starter, not really all that great. Not that we had great replacement behind him, but I'm like, I've wanted someone else for a while now. Danny Green isn't contributing much on the offensive end. I don't just mean the series. I mean most of the regular season, save for the West Coast trip. So who would be the small forward replacement? Well, technically, because you don't have a small forward, and now this gets into Doc Rivers, you could have picked anybody. I will be fair. Your lineage of choices isn't great if you're talking strictly small forward. Burkhan, Court Mars. Had to be fair with Court Mars. Court Mars could go to guard, but when Court Mars was matched up with a John Collins or another forward, it was a nightmare. You saw bad Burkhan, Court Mars. Now, he made this go-ahead shot to put you up by 4, and that was another problem, too. How we couldn't really control the game in the last minute. You up by 4. It's a 2-possession game. You should be able to walk that down to a 1-point win. To not be able to hold that 4-point lead and basically be outscored by 7 points in a minute. But Burkhan's defense was generally terrible. He hit the shot, but Burkhan as a starter, went bye-bye. But here's the other problem for the Sixers. Matisse Thybulle isn't a starter either. Now, this isn't Matisse's fault. I had Matisse graded in the second round. Way back in the draft. I didn't think much of Matisse Thybulle. And offensively, it's still very much the same. Offensively, I'm not even sure if it's a draftable grade. Defensively, he's one of the best defensive players ever. But you can't play it. And that's what I want the media to understand now in the future. You can't play this guy more than 10 minutes, 15 minutes without it bleeding into your lineup. I literally don't know how you play this guy. This would be like if TJ McConnell were a few inches taller and we played TJ. Actually, TJ McConnell had more in his bag than Matisse Thybulle. I just don't know what Matisse's future is in the league anymore. I really don't. Is he forever going to be your 9th and 10th man? And if so, that's great to have, but you really, really need a top-of-the-line starter at the wing spot. I mean, I knew it from the beginning, but oh my God. Between Court Mars and between Matisse, an underrated and undersold reason he lost the game is he got nothing from small forward all night long. So, if you were talking strictly replacing Green with another forward, I sympathize with Doc. Here's the thing though, Doc. You technically already have 2 forwards. The one I just ripped, Ben Simmons, and the other one, Tobias Harris. Oh yeah, let's go with Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is cold in the second half. Now, mind you, Jerome Embiid taking all these possessions, but still, call for the ball. You're Tobias Harris. You had disrespect in the locker room. You see this guy going 0 for, not even 0 for 12. When he gets 0 for 4, when you get to that point, be Tobias Harris and say, I want the ball. I want the shots. And you didn't see that out of Tobias Harris. You didn't see it out of Ben either. But you didn't see it out of Tobias Harris. So that's the other thing. If Joel Embiid's going to have a game like this, not even like this, let's say he has a much better game, but still a human game by Joel Embiid, you're going to need somebody else to step up. Where are my 2 other forwards? Ben, Toby, where are you? But I'm not going to be as on Toby because it's not like he had a bad game. 8 for 15, he had the shots. He just needed to take, as it turned out, more shots and wasn't able to do so. And then that is on Doc. Doc said we'll keep doing the same thing until it's working. How about when it's not working and he goes somewhere else? Is that part of the game plan? Because obviously the point where you go 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 0 for 6, 0 for 7, you got to tend to think, okay, not Joel Embiid's night. But going to Embiid was not his worst offense. Starting Korkmaz wasn't his worst offense. Playing Korkmaz at that point, what did you do? Korkmaz was bad Korkmaz. You literally had to change the rotation, even if it meant going smaller. And oh yes, now we're going to get to the real meat and the bones of my frustration with Doc Rivers. You might be surprised by the tone of the video, but at one point we were up by 18 points. Want to know the lineup that got us there? It's a lineup that we rarely see. It's a lineup that every time we see it, I am excited. But we don't really see the lineup because Doc put that lineup in there. We see it because Doc's substitutions hadn't completed yet. Which is a shame because he really should look at how good this lineup is. Simmons, Hill, Maxey, all three of them together. There was so much ball movement, so much energy off the bounce. Why is Tyrese Maxey relegated to 6 minutes? Yes, Shake Milton was a hero in Game 2. I did that. You don't win Game 2 without Shake Milton going out of his mind. Unfortunately, there was literally 2 months of bad play by Shake Milton. The bad play outsizes Game 2. Game 2, Doc, is what it is, and it's over. You had a nice little stretch. Here's the reality. 2 for 7. 2 for 7. He doesn't create anything, and oh God, if I had to see another minute of Shake Milton's defense. You can talk about how you thought Tyrese Maxey was the worst defender. I introduced you to Shake Milton. Zero in on Shake Milton in the videotape. Go watch Shake Milton defense. This guy can't keep anyone in front of him. And off-ball defense, shout out to Fiago on the painted lines. Off-ball defense, oh my God, Shake Milton loses his man off of the ball. Okay, I just don't want to see any more of Shake Milton. I'm done. He had a heroic Game 2, and I applaud it. But Doc, you literally said it could be anybody, right? Time to shift it around. Because guess what? Tyrese Maxey played good defense on Trae Young. And he is a lightning rod on offense. For that lightning rod, though, you need to give him minutes. Tyrese Maxey played 45 seconds in the second half. 45 seconds. And then he pulled him out right after. What did you think you were going to get in those 45 seconds, Doc? What did you think you were going to get? Realistically, what did you really think you were going to get in 45 seconds? I don't know what you thought you were going to get, Doc, but I can just tell you from experience watching this game for 20 years, I just don't think you're going to get much in 45 seconds from anybody, not even from LeBron. So the substitution pattern between playing Burkhardt and Korkmaz all those minutes, yeah, you probably should go to George Hill at this point. Look, not like Danny Green scores, right? So you're looking for a two-way player that doesn't stop the bag. So at this point, yeah, George Hill might be a starter for you. Or Tyrese Maxey. Please let it be Tyrese Maxey. At this point, play your best players the most minutes. Shake Milton is not better than Tyrese Maxey at the story. Regardless of Game 2. Game 2 is Game 2. It has to be put in the past. Just like you had to put Tyrese Maxey's Game 1 in the past. 2 for 8, and it's not like they were bad shots. You're attempting layups and they didn't go in. And quite honestly, on a couple of them, you should have been fouled. In the ideal world, he goes 6 for 8, and we're not in this predicament. Well, unfortunately, he went 2 for 8 in Game 1, and then we're like, no. Even though, again, even in that Game 1, he played good defense. Play Tyrese Maxey more minutes. Not 45 seconds. Get Shake Milton out of the rotation. Game 2 heroics aside. And then there's Burkhardt and Korkmaz. I thought that Dwight Howard had a good game. You know, there was that moment, there was that scare with the shoulder, and he really gotta be, it was really inadvertent, obviously, and the rest decided that it was inadvertent, but my God, just don't put yourself in that situation, obviously, if you're Dwight Howard. Okay, the Hawk fans. You won 2 games, 1 by 4, 1 by 3, and Joel Embiid ended up being human for that game. You got one more game than anyone expected. You know what? Applause. But despite everything I just said, I don't think Joel Embiid will have another game like that if he can help it. Obviously, it's a precarious situation with what the knee and everything, and I understand that, and I'm taking that fully into consideration. So if Embiid isn't quite what he was in the first 3 games, we need Ben to step up, we need Toby to step up, and we need Joe to take a step back and say, I'm not at my best. I should not take 21 shots. I could give you 21 rebounds, but not 21 shots. I could rebound, I could defend, I could still do those things, and I could look to be a passer like I was in Game 3, and I could look to be more of a guy that gets my teammates involved. Those are the kind of things that I think Joel Embiid should adjust for Game 5. Your guys hung in there. Your Hawks hung in there. They're young, they're hungry. They won 2 games, which is 2 more games, quite frankly. And this is Six of the Universe signing off. Peace.